Hey folks, this is a short video on a very strange aspect of 2001: A Space Odyssey that I came across recently as part of a larger video project which includes a study of geometric perception in 2001. In this scene of the film, the lead up to Bowman shutting down HAL, I've sometimes wondered if there is some logic to the patterns of lights on the walls. And recently I came across some possibly related information about the production of the film. This movie tie-in board game called Universe. That's right, 2001: A Space Odyssey had a board game released as part of its marketing blitz. It's an adaptation of an earlier game called Pentaminos. But what in the world does the game Pentaminos have to do with 2001: A Space Odyssey? Well, a lot, it appears. On the cover of the box, there are two images from the film contained within Pentamino puzzle shapes, and there's a plain red Pentamino shape in the middle, which I find oddly reminiscent of the Pentamino-like shapes seen as Bowman manoeuvres his way to shut down HAL. So are these wall tile displays here supposed to look like a Pentamino puzzle? Could they actually be one that we're supposed to solve? Looking at these walls in the past, it's often seemed strange to me that some portions gave impressions of letters from the alphabet, such as a possible E to the far left here, and a possible H there. Then in this reverse shot, the letter B on both far edges of the screen, and yet within those letter Bs, there appears to be a black lowercase letter I. I've still no idea if there's any real point to these visual arrangements, so I'm curious to hear what you think about that. Now you may think I'm just grasping at straws, as they say, regarding these wall patterns. Not that I am saying they mean anything, but here's something you cannot deny. One of the images of Bowman here has him playing a geometrical game of Pentaminos against a HAL 9000 computer. And I found another image from the film that shows Bowman again playing Pentamino with HAL, but it looks like this image was from slightly earlier in the game because a couple of the puzzle pieces are missing compared to the still shot that's shown on the board game cover. So this must have been a deleted scene from the film. In the actual released movie, Poole is seen playing chess with HAL, but afterward both astronauts end up playing a psychological game of chess against a lying AI oppressor, with the stakes being their very survival. Another even stranger aspect of the board game cover is that the horseshoe red puzzle piece is seen arching around the back of Bowman's head, and in the image opposite, Bowman is seen side on with his face again having a red arch around the back of it, but this time it's the helmet of his spacesuit. I've argued before that there is significance in the helmets of their suits in the film. Here, the shot is framed so that Poole and Bowman look like they are entering the back of a helmet. Those are actually helmets of different colours on either side there on the left and right. And when Bowman is locked out the Discovery by HAL, he forgot to take his helmet with him, so he has to risk the vacuum of space to get back inside. Once he is inside, he puts on a green helmet, a helmet that we've not seen before in any of the sets, and green being an extremely rare colour in the spaceships of the film, while also being a colour symbolising nature, of course. And this battle with HAL is a contest between natural man and artificial intelligence. So, interesting use of the red puzzle piece on this box artwork. Something significant about the original Pentamino game is that to solve the puzzle, the pieces had to be experimentally rotated in 90-degree increments, with the ultimate aim of arranging them in a rectangle that is wider than it is tall. The length compared to width of the rectangle can vary, as seen on this Wikipedia page about the game. And as I've said before, an essential aspect of the monolith is that when it is rotated 90 degrees onto its side, it becomes a symbol of the cinema screen itself. The very wide frame cinema screen the film was originally shot in, I think it was called Panavision 70. So perhaps the Pentamino game metaphor with its rotating pieces is related to that. Note that there is a tall rectangular piece on the right of the board game cover with an attachment at the bottom referring to the movie itself. Another interesting facet of this puzzle game is that in 1958 a researcher named Dana Scott, that's Dana for a boy by the way, published a paper in which he'd used a backtracking computer software program to arrange the Pentamino pieces into an 8x8 square with a 2x2 hole in the middle. 8x8 happens to be the dimensions of a chessboard, by the way, though the Pentamino game depicted in the deleted scene of the film is on a 10x10 board, like the movie tie-in board game was. I don't know if Kubrick was involved in the conception of the multiplayer version, the board game, but I suspect he was. I mean, he typically handled all of the marketing of his own movies anyway. And it's also confirmed that Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke had discussed the Pentamino game a lot. Clarke became so preoccupied with it that he published an article on the subject, which was then reprinted in one of his books. The chapter is titled, "Help, I am a Pentamino Addict." Clarke says that the Pentamino game wasn't used in the movie, quote, "for various legal reasons," end quote, though there must have been legalities regarding the release of a Pentamino's type board game as a tie-in with the movie itself. Old copies of the game can be found selling online even today. So was Clarke even aware that a board game tie-in was released? I don't know. Regardless, Clarke says that chess was used in the movie instead, suggesting Pentamino's was the preference. Though that doesn't explain why the Pentamino's scene features Bowman competing against Hal, but the movie version shows Poole versus Hal. Clarke says he stole a copy of the board game Pentamino's from a small niece of his, naughty man, and that he even had a rug in his office designed like a Pentamino puzzle. After outlining some of the math regarding the millions of possible combinations of the full 12 pieces, he explains that the player can create smaller, completed rectangles and squares by using as little as 3 of the pieces. He also frames the complexity of possibilities regarding the multiplayer game of Pentamino's as being much more complex than chess. And something relevant to our topic of perceived cubic reality in this video is that Clarke theorises a 3D version in which the puzzle pieces aren't just flat tiles but include a third dimension of positioning, thus making the numerical possibilities of arrangement far greater. He refers to this as literally a, quote, "geometrical nightmare," end quote. With all this in mind, I find it no surprise that Kubrick himself became fascinated with the game of Pentamino's, especially when making a movie that featured man in competition with a mathematically calculating AI called HAL 9000. Given the near infinite possibilities of arrangement that Clarke claims the game has, it seems ironic that Hal would be made to play the game against a human in the film. A game of such endless possibility might be beyond the scope of AI. Though my reading up on this has only been brief, maybe somebody has cracked it and managed to make a computer that can play this game really well. Though whether they've managed to do it for the multiplayer version, I don't know. Apparently the mathematical possibilities in that game are crazy. By the way, if you're interested in the game, you can even get it on Steam as a single player experience. So, no AI competitor there. This Pentamino board game promotion of 2001, along with the revelation of a deleted Pentamino scene within the film, is a very strange thing. So I'm putting it out there for you folks to consider and discuss. But for the sake of my cubic reality interpretation of the film, at the very least it's a clear example of Kubrick's preoccupation with geometry during the production. And to that effect, this video is a small clip from a much longer video that I'm currently working on that will include the topics of Picasso's Cubism, the Windows operating system, the movie Tron, and the video game Minecraft, all as part of the human preoccupation with geometry and cubic reality. So if you want to see the full version of this video when it gets uploaded, then be sure to subscribe and check the channel from time to time in case you don't receive your notifications for the new upload. Thanks for watching, folks. You've been listening to Rob Ager of CollativeLearning.com. Bye bye.